The end of the year is always a time of reflection for most of us as we look at what we've done in the past year, what we've accomplished, and maybe some of the challenges that we have had, and what has been detrimental also to our being. Now, different nations and religions and spiritualities celebrate the completion of the year in a variety of different traditions and ways. I can remember as a child that, there was always the ball dropping when we finally had a TV, or somebody in the neighborhood would take out their shotgun and go out and shoot it, kapow, kapow. Or those of us that were children ended up with a wooden spoon and a pan, and we went out and stood on the steps and banged it. Those are just a few of the things that we in America have done to celebrate. For years, a group of friends and I would gather on the first new moon of the new year each year. And we followed a Lakota Native American custom, and we would make 3 arrows for what we wanted to leave behind and 3 arrows for what we wanted to bring into our life. And what we would do is you'd come in and we'd sit down at the table, and the table would be covered with craft items and magazines and ribbons, and we brought pictures that we had for ourselves to create these traditions. Now, part of that custom also meant that when each arrow was created, we would explain what it was that we were leaving behind or what it was that we were choosing to bring into our life. Now, the difficult part was not creating them, but was rather rising before sunrise the next morning and meeting at Bidwell Park, where we would take those things that we wanted to leave behind and put them in one of the barbecues and burn them. And then we would jump in our cars and we would drive up Highway 32, and we'd dig a hole on the mountainside and very symbolically bury so that they might grow those things which we were choosing to bring into our life in the coming year. Now, while our ritual was based on a Native American custom, there are many other customs that are conducted throughout the world. For example, in Iran, they take an earthen jar each year and they break it. They throw it down and they break it, which symbolizes that the earthen jar held on to what it was that was the bad fortune in the last year, and they were breaking it and releasing it and being done with it. Now, in some countries, the celebrations go on for days. And there will be parades and declarations. And in Colombia, for example, the families gather to create an overstuffed male doll, in which all of the ill feelings, sorry guys, all of the ill feelings from the previous year are placed into that doll, and then the doll is symbolically burned. We won't be doing that today. Many of us here in America make resolutions for the coming year, but then typically within a few weeks, those resolutions, like we wake up in the morning and we decide, I'm not going to walk today. Oh, that cookie looks so good. Or another glass of wine with dinner would be great. And all of a sudden, the resolutions that we carefully decided upon for the coming year are let go and no longer any good. An example might be, for example, we resolve to get out of debt for the coming year, and we make that mistake of focusing on the debt itself rather than setting the intention to be prosperous in the coming year. You see, we have to focus on what we want, not what we don't want. And when we establish and set intentions for the coming year, it comes from that deepest part of who we are as we focus on our intentions to be successful. The burning bowl ceremony is derived from a Buddhist custom. While the process that we'll use today is not exactly like the Buddhist ceremony, I believe that we will all benefit by releasing the old or what no longer serves us and setting our intentions for the new year, 2020. As we know, there is no power in the ritual itself. It's merely a way to center our minds and focus on a particular purpose. Ceremony is a tangible expression of what we do mentally. Ritual can also help align our thinking and our feelings that are necessary for the internal creative process that lives within. What we're about to do today is a symbolic way to cleanse our lives and to let go of the mistakes and the failures of the past, and then move forward in love and joy.
We will now begin the ritualistic part of this. It is a vision and release meditation. And so if you would become comfortable, even more so than you might already be, and just relax and just listen to the words, and we'll have some background sound to help us open to whatever it is that needs to rise up within each of you. So take a breath. And think of yourself as an empty flute that is waiting to be played. What is the melody that you will create in the coming year? What will it sound like? What emotions will you create? Remember, you are pure potential in this very moment. So what is it you want to do or be in the next 365 days? Vision what you want in your life. What would it take for you to get to the end of 2020 and feel completely satisfied? What will it feel like? What will it look like? What will you hear from those all around you? What would be ideal? Or what will the perfect year be like at the end of 2020? Now see yourself in the midst of this vision, whatever that is. See what you are doing. And know it's the best way to spend your time, energy, and attention in this coming year. Please be clear. Please be specific. Feel the glory of the accomplishments. Feel gratitude and ownership for what you have done in your vision. Feel the clarity and the purpose of embodying the vision. Now, take a few deep breaths. And know that everything you have envisioned, felt, and heard is doable. And that you have the power within you to experience it in 2020. Now set the thoughts and new beliefs aside for just a few moments. Now let's move to what is preventing you from accomplishing what you want in this coming year. What is the first thing that comes to mind that is standing in your way? No judgment. Just objectively observe what comes to mind. Ask yourself, what is within me that will have to change in order to make room for this new good I have envisioned? What ideas or idea have I habitually entertained that must now shift so that I can create something new? The truth is, the old must give way in order to create the new. Buddhist sand mandalas are incredibly creative. Initially, the mandala is a work of art. Numerous hours are needed to create these beautiful works of art that are sometimes 10 feet in diameter. And almost as soon as they are created, they are destroyed. Why? The new mandalas are destroyed in order to release the fascination and attachment with the form, and to allow the energy of the idea to be released and take a new form. We also must give up the lesser ideas to make room for our greater good. Beloveds, it is time to release big stuff. Fear, unworthiness, self-limiting ideas. No matter how long it has been around or on how uncomfortable it has gotten. This is not the time for weak or half-hearted efforts. So dig deep. Do it. What is the one idea that if your consciousness were completely free of it, you absolutely know that you would finally be truly liberated and that your life would change dramatically? When you find yourself able to name it, label it, You are regaining the power it has claimed. True change takes more than just one decision, one time. It takes villages, purposeful ongoing work, but it's worth it. Moving into worthiness is a journey, because there's always another level to reveal and to understand and thus experience. Now, I'd like you to take a deep breath. And bring your awareness back into the room for just a moment. And we'll bring the house lights up just a bit. And you received a small piece of flash paper that you received. And you're invited to write the limiting ideas you just realized in your mind. This piece right here, the small piece of paper. This is your private spiritual work. So take your time. It doesn't have to be neat. There's no spelling or grammar or cursive judgment. No one else will see. Does anyone need something to write with? Or a piece of paper? Please let the ushers know. Be clear. Add anything you would like. You can use both sides. I've often wished the paper was larger. The candle that we use today is a symbol of transformation. And the fire takes the paper and changes it from one form to another. And likewise, in our lives, we will take these blocks and fears and old hurts, and even a mistake or two, and burn them. This releases our personal power, freeing it up to work in our lives in a more constructive way. Please realize it takes a lot of energy to keep mistakes and fears hidden. Now is the time to let them go. Now is the time to take that energy and choose to use it in a way that is conscious and life-enhancing. You are now invited to release your limiting ideas. So when you feel ready, then there's no certain order. We ask that you take your paper and drop it into the vessel in the center of the room. Blessing the sacred process, and let go. Let go of those limiting ideas. And then return to your seats. Thank you. Does anyone need assistance, or would you welcome someone carrying your release to the bowl? Please raise your hand. Want to make it comfortable for everyone. And so now, I offer a blessing of release for all of the letting go that you have symbolically produced here today. And know with me that as we let go of that which no longer serves us, and our intention to release it is done so in deep faith and trust and knowing that in truth it has been done. It has been released right now in the mind of God. And so as we continue with this process today, I know that the light of the flame that consumes the old is the symbolic phoenix of that which is to rise to a new divine idea from this moment forward. And so it is. Namaste. So it is.